Let's make sure we've got it all prepped. I like how we did it on the last ones as well. Dan likes that. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, Jake, on the last few episodes, we just literally spoke and went into it. Like I didn't intro it, and then we'll get 5 seconds in, and then I'll turn to the camera and do something along the lines of
"Yo guys, Sam from NCS here."
Exactly. All right, let's do that actually. Yo guys, what's good? Welcome back to Full Circle.
Have we been going?
Yeah, we've been going. We've been going. You can swear. It's fine. This is chaos already. Welcome back to Full Circle. Your boy is not at 100% today. I'm out here functioning. Look, we're pulling through. We've had some logistics. I'm not feeling healthy, but look, we're alive and breathing. Yes. Dan's next to me, and we are joined by two young legends. Two young legends.
I'll take it.
One, our very own Jake, artist manager turned A&R here at NCS, who I'm going to say off the bat before he gets to mention it, has the most viewed episode of Full Circle.
Come on. Yeah. Let's make this one the second most viewed.
There we go. No, we're going for gold. This will be the most viewed.
Yeah, I hope
okay, there we go.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think is that fire
That's the
alarm?
3 p.m.
Yeah, it's
3 p.m. fire alarm. We're all good.
All right.
It's the classic 2 p.m. fire alarm. But yeah, Jake joins us, and then the wonderful Kamila is alongside him. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming on.
Hi. Thanks for having me, guys.
Of course.
I'm excited.
Yeah, we've been trying to figure out logistics of getting you onto the podcast for I've mentioned it probably a couple months ago now.
Yeah.
And we managed to get it in after some. This isn't working. Can you do today? Yes. Oh no, can you do tomorrow? Yes, we're here.
Yeah, you know what, guys? I had to dress up a couple times and turn up to work and be like, "So, are you ready for this podcast?" And they're like, "Yeah, we have to reschedule." And I'm like, "Damn!
I'm so sorry.
I wasted this outfit."
But it's worth the wait. Obviously, I'm presuming people that have watched this probably know a little bit about yourself, Jake. Camilla, do you want to give a little bit of an intro as to what it is you do and why we've had to keep trying to get you on the podcast?
So yeah, I'm currently the brand assistant for UKF, a worldwide based music label. We are absolutely smashing the scene at the moment, and I'm super grateful to be part of this brand. I basically take care of the YouTube channel. A lot of people know who we are from our YouTube channel, so it's an honor to be taking care of that because that is now my baby. So yeah, and I've been working with UKF for just over a year now.
Is that it? I thought it was longer.
Yeah, because I think you joined. Wow. You joined. So for clarity, we've mentioned this before, but in the office where we work, NCS wise, there's a few different labels and creatives in there, and UKF being one of them. Yeah, because I think you joined the office maybe a month or two just before I left.
Yeah.
So you must have joined when I joined then.
Maybe
around. I've only known. No, I thought you were there longer than I have.
Yeah, because remember my 1 year anniversary at AEI? You were like, oh well, mine's coming up too as well. So
oh really?
It probably is. Yeah.
Okay. We also had the point that we were making of because me and Jake have known each other for years, and we had the point of oh yes, we're working together, and I was like, for about 3 weeks, mate.
Oh yeah, you ratted me out there.
I know. But made it back, and now we're here. Now look, we're all aligned, which is great.
We're finally here.
The stars have aligned.
Yeah, I think Jake, for you, it's an interesting one because your shift, obviously you're still doing your artist management, but last time that we spoke to you, that was the sole focus. You were on management mode, and now you're in this weird limbo where I think a few artist managers tend to take that route.
Yeah.
The it's almost like that gap between label and artist manager where you can float. It's like a nice little spot to be in.
Yeah, I think that with an artist manager, it carries a lot of the same sort of
responsibilities.
Responsibilities and the characteristic traits for making a manager are also kind of what's needed as an A&R. So I think there is a lot of managers who are either ex A&Rs or there's a lot of A&Rs that are ex-managers or a lot of people just doing both.
Because you understand what artists want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Essentially,
you get the audience as well.
Essentially what I'm doing, and the easiest way to describe A&R in my opinion is artist management, but just for the records and the artists that you sign. And typically A&R for previous labels that I've worked with have been specific projects and EPs and albums and stuff like that. Whereas with NCS, it's more of like signing a lot of different artists. So it's like micromanaging sort of like singles from this artist, and then a big project comes along, like for example, I don't know how much can I say.
Go for
it. Okay, let's say like the Raud project or like In Touch or stuff like this.
Oh man, I've been loving the In Touch lately.
These are like passion projects of mine, and that's where like the A&Ring kind of feels a little bit more like artist management without it, being a natural artist.
You don't have the responsibility of being tied specifically to that artist, but because if anything, I mean, we spoke about this before, how like we spoke about it on the podcast with Abby, like how first off, the majority of us are fans of music, and like that's where you hit that sweet spot. I mean, Kamila, you probably find it as well. Like we mentioned it on the taxi on the way here. You were like, I mean, you call it your baby, like the channel, but I imagine being like a fan of not necessarily specifically that sound, but the scene in general, and then working in it, it's crazy.
You have to, it's like, I don't think it's possible for anyone to run that channel and not be a fan of bass music. Like, it's just not possible. You need to know, like, what labels are bringing out the newest tunes, what's the newest sound, what's everyone feeling, go to the shows, be part of that crowd, be part of that energy, get to know these artists, what direction are they going in, and like, you need to know these in order to like connect with your audience and teach them these things as well. Because I think that the journey that the channel has gone in, I've seen a few comments from our fans saying like, oh, I'm really enjoying how like there's a bit of like bro step, but there's also this like deeper, minimal, like UK based sound, like it's a bit more old school and underground that's coming through. And it's like, that's amazing that I'm connecting with our audience in a way where, okay, we're giving you like the traditional stuff that you've always liked, because a lot of our audience is American. So bro step is a bit more common. And I think I've been like switching it up slightly by being like, oh, right, yeah, bro step is sick.
What's bro step? Is that like ultra heavy dubstep?
Kind of, yeah. So it's like got that rhythm vibe, and it's like it's
like,
very
it's like Excision and that sort of stuff.
So it's got like it's similar sounds to like Sudden Death and like Tape B and like Haze and like, like those kind of American artists. Then you've got like 1985 Music that's bringing this like very deep, very like minimal, like underground, sub-heavy dubstep, and it's like making it a lot more like you got more reverbs in there, like everything's just more insidious, and like that's the kind of like vibe that brings us back to the UK underground dubstep culture. And educating our audience is so important. So being a fan makes that easier. And I was a fan of the channel before I even worked as well. So
I mean, well, UKF has been knocking about for like better part of like
since 2009.
So it's coming up to 15 years.
15 years, right?
It was
and
one of the first, for sure.
I remember being a kid and like having the UKF CDs, and like it was equivalent back in the day for me to like Ministry of Sound. Or like a now, or like now this is whatever. So like picking that up and like converting it to like a digital market in YouTube, that's like no easy feat to like you have to be involved in that world to like cater to that audience that came from the CD world and stuff like that.
I think,
but then also providing like the new wave, the new sound.
Exactly.
So
I feel like UKF and NCS are like a really prime example that like not necessarily a good idea, but just how far having passion for something can get you.
Totally.
Because on both our sides, like both founders, first of all, as we mentioned, we're just fans of the music. And then this turned into like, okay, well, I want to showcase these artists that I like. Like, oh, I love this track, let's put this out, blah, blah, blah. And then because of the way that the world works and the way that things fell into place, we're now in a position where we can discuss those two things on a podcast, which is just mental. Like,
it is pretty crazy.
I mean, it's weird. Like, I think for you, Dan, like, alongside these two, like, obviously you're a fan of the music before, but you've seen more than most of us here, like the progression of NCS, which we spoke about a lot. But I don't know if parallel alongside that, you've noticed that kind of shift on the UKF side. I mean,
Oh yeah, I mean, like UKF, like, I mean, I've been following it for years, but from what I've seen is UKF had a massive blow up on YouTube. Back in the day, it was like UKF dubstep was the thing. And then UKF dubstep kind of tapered away, and I think dubstep in general tapered
Yeah,
away
it
for a
did.
few years. Then drum and bass came back, and UKF drum and bass was the biggest.
But that's
thing.
a sign
Yeah.
of that's a sign of like the times as
Yeah,
well. Do you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like,
yeah.
and like UKF dubstep, it will make a comeback, and it,
I think it's
you
already
know,
on its way. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
but that's
definitely on
what I
its
mean.
way.
It's like it's the cycle of music. You know, it's like 1 to 2 years ago, disco was at its peak again.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like it hasn't been at its peak since what, like
Yeah.
2010 or something
Yeah.
like that.
I think we're
And
gonna
it's just that's
we're
how it
gonna
goes.
speak about that kind of stuff. So at ADE, reminder, because this episode will go out next week. Next week is ADE.
Oh, yeah.
Next
Yeah.
week is ADE. If you haven't got your tickets and you're coming through to
What are you
Amsterdam,
doing?
what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Top link in the description. Get your tickets. Come through. See us. But we've got a panel that we're gonna do, the three of us,
Yeah.
at the Day Space event, where we basically mentioned it a little bit to you, but we've got our nighttime event, we've got a Day Space
Yeah.
event, and we're going to do a panel of kind of the current state and the
Yeah.
sound of the world,
Cool.
Oh, maybe not too deep, of
That's
the
a
music
bit deep.
industry.
Yeah.
It's a bit deep.
Yeah, but
Bit philosophical.
yeah, very deep. I'm not deep enough for that, but yeah, that leads on to kind of what you were saying, Jake,
Yeah.
about like these things come in cycles,
Yeah.
and I think at the moment, as like maybe not so much of a fan of this world of music compared to the three of you, but I've like noticed now in the last 6 months, I have this statement that someone's probably going to, one of you three are getting mad at. I think no one's had more impact. Oh, this is a big statement. Nobody's had more impact on popular music in the last year and a half than Pink Panther has. Right? Wait, and let me explain my point. Now, there's obviously loads of people making this, like, I don't know what, it's kind of like garage influence, like liquid D&B type sound, right?
Right.
Which
Future pop,
is,
hyper
yeah,
pop,
yeah, which
yeah.
Nia
that,
Archives.
yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Appreciate all those artists.
Yeah.
That tune went viral a couple of years ago. The Pink Panther is one.
Yeah.
Can't remember which one it was, but it brought that liquid D&B out of the UK to America. I mean, she's from like Kent, but like for some reason she tapped into TikTok, bang on, and went viral.
Yeah.
Now America are like, I mean, obviously not discovering, but are on this bandwagon of this like liquid D&B, that Strangers tune, you know, all that thing. And
Yeah.
as a more of an outsider and watching it, it's really interesting to see, back to your point, that mention of full circle, because I think I've got to shout that, yeah, there you go.
Just
ding, ding, ding,
perfect
ding, ding. That next year EDM is going to be back up, and I'm talking like
Oh,
EDM,
oh,
like
yeah.
with Fred, with this movement, like, you know, the Badadun tune that plays on The Office every day. Like there seems like
It's
a rise.
always on my Instagram
It's
as well.
great.
It's
It's
just
such a
never
tune.
ends.
I don't know if you guys would agree with that, but it feels like the scene that UKF and NCS occupy to a degree is definitely on a rise
Oh,
again.
Yeah,
I
I think
think
it's
it
because we
has been
cover
for a
so
while.
much ground as well.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
We cover like, well, I obviously I can tell with no copyright sounds is that like you kind of do go on the EDM, and then you go a little bit on the housey side, then you go a little bit on the D&B, and then a bit in the dubstep. You got a bit of
this, bit of
everything.
Yeah.
And UKF are very similar, where like, you know, where we had like I was saying, a lot of like that bro step stuff, and then we've got our like deep 140, but then we've also got our like dance floor, liquid, jump up, neuro, and then we have our garage, bass house, and then I think I do get what you're saying though with Pink Panther is taking it to the US, but I don't think like it's just.
I don't think
alone.
most
No.
influential.
I don't
Yeah.
think most
I think
influential.
very influential.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
maybe
but
like
not most.
a lot of the dance floor guys, like the worship artists, like Subfocus Dimension. You got Culture Shock.
They've
They're
been doing
all
it.
yeah, exactly, because they're probably the biggest drum and bass artists at this moment in time, and they're the most influential because they make accessible drum and bass, and it's not like crazy. Like, I mean, Badadan's a great tune, but it's got that like
not
jump
super
up feel.
commercial,
It's
yeah,
not,
yeah.
and I think
It's a
that's
club
what's
record for sure.
Yeah.
yeah, totally. And that's what's getting people to listen. And obviously Americans they never had this like underground culture like the UK did. So that's
Yeah.
why I think I agree kind of what you're saying, but I don't think it's
No,
just her.
I completely agree. I think I'm talking from a perspective of, if you were Joe Bloggs down the street and you go, I like that Pink Pantherist tune, they wouldn't know that they're listening to Liquid D&B then. Do you know what I mean?
On TikTok or
Because
something.
they're hearing it on TikTok. But overall, I guess my point being is that it's a nice thing to see that, not necessarily music that we constantly put out, but this world, to a degree that we occupy, is seeing a resurgence. I think it's really cool.
Do you know what kind of venues she's playing out in the US?
God knows, because
Is it like? Do you reckon it's closer to like 50k or 5k?
But I bet
it's
it's,
got
not
to
like
be
50K.
it's got to be close
Yeah.
to 50. Yeah.
I reckon it's close to 5.
Really?
I think so. And like this is what leads me on to my point, which is like yeah, it's made a big influence, but like TikTok and like, you know, how many t-shirts can she sell? How many tickets can she show?
What is that transferable?
Like, exactly. How transferable is it? Do you know what I mean? And like, TikTok is great. Yeah, she's gotten a bunch of streams from it, and yeah, it's influential. It's made its way into like everyone's pockets through you know, TikTok and stuff like that, and everyone's heard a Pink Pantheress song. But
what does that equate to?
Yeah, what does it equate to?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think we've got a nice perspective here because all of us like music and then each have individual roles, and we've mentioned the management thing, individual things outside of that. Like, obviously, you're an artist yourself, right? DJing. You're playing tomorrow in Brighton. Brighton's got a mention. I've said Fred again as well.
Are you going?
I got 3 for 3.
You got the last.
Oh no, yeah. There's like regular things I tend to say on the podcast.
I love this. It's
and
great.
Full Circle's one, and the other one that I haven't mentioned is Ellis. So there we go. Now we can have 4 for 4.
5 for 5, 6 for 6.
But anyway, yeah, I think it'd be cool to get perspective, like as an artist as well. Do you release your own tunes, or it's just playing live?
I'm not releasing yet, but I'm definitely on the way there. It's pretty hard being a woman in this industry as well, because drum and bass, I have to say, arguably is probably the most difficult genre to make, because of how advanced a lot of like the mixing is as well, trying to make everything sound like it's not completely like breaking your speakers, but also sounding good and crisp and clean. But I'm seeing a huge improvement, so I'm like really excited to like start showing my music and like getting it out there. But at the moment I am mainly performing and DJing. So I did play Boomtown, El Dorado. I played at the Alternet for our UKF show, and that was really good. So I'm definitely wanting to branch out now that I've like kind of like switched up my lifestyle a bit, because doing that is difficult when you work in the industry and you're trying to be an artist.
That's what I'm curious on. Is like, what's the perspective? Because I imagine, like, if you say you listen to these tracks every day, and you're like, I guess half of you, I mean, I can't speak for you, but half of you's like, oh, I can get some inspiration for that, and then the other half is like, oh god, there's so much, like, where do I fit in here?
Well, basically, there's a thing called like ear fatigue and like brain fatigue, and I get a mixture of both when I do spend the whole day on submissions. It gets really intense, and
trust me, I
you know what it's like.
What you mean.
It's basically like A&R, but it's for the channel. So like you gotta be making decisions and being like, okay, well, like what audience is gonna like this? Do I like this? Does it work? Is this quality great? But then I do use that sometimes as my own inspiration. But what I think what I've been doing recently, which I'm actually really happy with, is that I'll do my work stuff and I'll leave it at that. And then I'll probably go out less, drink less. I will be doing the same like socializing, but I will definitely be using that more in a professional and like sensible approach, instead of like going out and then getting a bit too drunk and then like feeling like crap the next day. And I don't really want to do that. So without as much drinking, that's really helped me be more focused. And now that I'm more focused, I'm then able to separate work and then my own creativity.
It gives you that split, right?
Yeah, exactly. So and obviously with that, on top of that, then I can start like working on my own stuff and like scheduling like my artist stuff. And then like I did a photo shoot last weekend as well. And then I've got another booking. I've got 2 more bookings in November. But anyway, if you want to book me, just let me know.
I mean, I don't know. It's different for you, right? Like, because there's, I mean, we spoke about before the illustrious music career that you had.
Tell us about it, Dan.
That's a story for another day, maybe. But I don't know, like, you probably both get it, but having the logistical side of a business, right, in NCS, and having to deal with like contracts and, you know, and like we've got ADE, like all that stuff. I mean, shout out to Charlotte as well, because she's going full head first into that stuff. Do you get a similar thing of like, you know what, I can't listen to music at the moment? Or like,
know? I mean, like, especially like when it comes to the A&R side, and to be honest, I don't really listen to all the demos. I only really listen to them.
The ones that we have like specifically
filtered,
filtered and decide to show to the rest of the
exactly.
team.
So we do like a weekly A&R meeting. But even after that, like I'm kind of exhausted of just, it's like decision making. It's like decision fatigue. But yeah, I used to listen to the demos, like all of the demos back in the day. And I remember like listening to that, I would just never want to listen to music outside of it.
Yeah.
You know,
It does
it's
get
really
like that
difficult.
sometimes.
It's-
And like podcasts come in really handy.
Yeah.
Because then you got to be like, okay, well, I do want to listen to something on my walk home, but I don't want to listen to music.
Yeah.
What am I going to listen to? Oh, okay, maybe like people talking, like maybe this podcast.
Yeah.
But podcasts in general are a really good way to like stimulate your mind and like think about something different while you're walking, or just maybe have some like what's the word? Inspiration from other people's discussions.
Do you have it? I mean, you're like, you touch every corner of the globe in a week. You're constantly moving around.
Yeah, give some context here.
So Jake, ever since I've known him, has had like this bug of traveling, and like you've been majority of the time based in London. Obviously, you're in Europe for a bit, but like, dude, this guy will do like it is the grave shift.
countries a week.
He'll do the 2 a.m. in the morning flight over, fly back, and like I've noticed recently, you just keep getting like stiff by airlines. But your life is go in that sphere, and I will say 9 times out of 10 you're usually linking with music people, so I guess there's a degree of work to it. But how are you balancing that?
So the way that I look at it,
I thought you were going to go, I'm not.
No. I have this really, really tough issue of I can't be in the same place for too long, and if I am, I'll become very sort of like unmotivated and very like I'll fall into like a sort of like,
it's like a rut. I get that.
Yeah, I just kind of loop, and it's like I just kind of can't, like, traveling really helps me break that, because when I travel, it gets me out of like my sort of comfort zone, call it. And the great thing with working in music, thankfully, that I work in music, because if I didn't, I would not be able to do this. But the good thing with working in music is you have your phone on you at all times. You've got 5G wherever you go. You know, I go on holiday, I'll land in a place, I'll check into the hotel, I'll work for 2-3 hours. I'll be like, cool, let's go explore the city a little bit. To be honest, with most cities or like most places, you can kind of see them in like 3 to 4 hours. Like, you know, last week I went to Tirana in Albania, for example. You know, we get a taxi in. I land at like 11 a.m., go to the hotel, sit by the pool, do some work. At like 4 p.m. or 5 p.m., go into the city, start at the very top of the city, make our way down, like maybe like, you know, just go on Google Maps, see what like attractions there are and stuff like that, and just kind of like make a path towards the bottom of the city, get some food, you know, go back to the hotel and just work. And it's easy for me to do that because I know that my jobs don't require like set hours.
It's not linear like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't have a linear job, so I can just continuously sort of like, if I want to pick up my laptop at 1 a.m. and start working, I can do it.
I suppose an A&R as well, like you're just responding to WhatsApps and emails all the time, just randomly throughout the day. It's not like you go like, oh, it's work, or you've got a blend.
Thing.
You've definitely got a blend.
It's a very weird thing.
I think sometimes for me as well, I do get a bit of a blend, but I think it depends, because like I sometimes will, if there's too much going on the channel, I will do like, I'll schedule a Saturday upload and then I'll check it, see if everything's okay. Okay, cool. Yeah. Sometimes I get a text from like other labels being like, oh, we're changing this, we're changing that. I'll be like, okay, sick. And like technically it is kind of work, but you're not like classing it as like work. It's
you
just
don't
like maintenance.
see it as work when you enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And it's a weird thing, because like, you know, in the scene that we're in, I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but like, you know, a lot of the people that you work with, you consider mates as well. So you have this really weird mix of business and personal.
There's at least 2 people here that I consider mates.
Yeah.
Who's the one that's left out? Joking, love you all.
But there's this thing of just like, you know, sometimes when you know, go for dinner with a mate and like, you know, you think of it like, oh, I'm just going for dinner with a mate. And then you end up talking about like, you know, you talk about things, and you talk about, you know, when's new music coming out, and like, oh, you know, can you send me the song? I want to show it to the NCS team, etc., etc. Do you know what I mean? It's
before you know it, like after out of just a chat of hanging out with a mate, you've like got an EP signed, or you've
it's as
spoke
simple
about creative,
as
which
that.
is just getting to chat.
Just the domino effect. You know?
Yeah,
what
exactly.
I mean?
I can relate to that as well, because we had like a release. We have had multiple releases actually with Lee Matthews and Ellipsa. All of them are drum and bass artists, and there was like a day where like Luke Hood, the founder of UKF, he planned like a pub like evening with the artists, and then a bunch of us just ended up coming, and then we ended up having like a whole like dinner and like a night out, and it was so nice because everyone was just like friends, but that technically kind of was working. And it's the same when you go like to different nights out that you've been invited to, or like, you know, when you're on a guest list and you're like backstage.
That's
and
what I find the funniest.
It's the best because you're technically working, but you're having so much fun with it.
It's so bizarre.
You're just having a laugh. It's really weird, but like that's just part of.
It's so bizarre, especially with next week coming up, ADE.
Oh yeah.
Every event that I go to, it will be something that I'm like guest list on. So technically I've been invited by someone and I'm there to chat with people and network and etc. etc. But I'm there to fucking enjoy the music as well. Do you know what I mean? It's
which is sick.
Headphones going.
Should I sort you out?
Yeah.
Are you there? Hello.
Good.
There we
Do we
go.
want to do?
Yeah, I think we spoke about that we're all fans of music, so we should probably listen to some upcoming
let's
tracks
do
that
it.
we've got. Do you want to give them a bit of an intro? Dan?
Yep. So this is Mania. Pick Up the Pieces, featuring Caesar
I love this song.
Santalo.
We've listened to this song on the podcast
So
before.
good.
really
How
good.
do you pronounce it?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I just know Mania.
I think we've actually played this.
We
one
have
on
on
the
this.
podcast already.
I love
I
this
just-
song.
this is coming
Abby
out-
likes this song.
It's coming out tomorrow. Is it tomorrow or today? Whatever the day is that this goes up. Would you say this is liquid? You'll hear on the
Yeah,
drop.
Let's hear the drop first. Yeah. That's nice.
We're coming
The
for
vocals-
UKF now.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, oh my god. No, that's really nice. The vocals work so well with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's definitely liquid.
Yeah.
For
It's
sure.
it's like it's cool because it's like something you could hear at a club,
Yeah.
like from a very like early kind of slot DJ like warm up, but it's also something that's just so easy to listen to at home.
I love that.
And
song.
that was it's Tom Wilson.
Tom Wilson, it's his new project.
Yeah.
And funny story, going back to not funny story, but like going back to what we were talking about before, like for example, me and a bunch of my mates, we went to the Lake District in the summer, 27 of us, and we like
How
rented
did you
out.
organise that? How did that make
it
it
was-
the group chat?
Yeah, it was something that just came about. It took a lot of planning, but we rented out like this mansion, and there was Tom Wilson there. There was Magnus. There was Connor Ross. Who else from
Was Thorn there?
Fawn,
Little
John,
Big.
Rude Lies,
Oh, wow.
Damastic.
That's the boys, man.
Like there was a bunch of people, and it's so funny because we were there, and you know, sometimes making music, sometimes we were like, you know, just like hanging out and like talking about music and etc. etc.
That's the best.
And it's like,
that,
like coming back to what we were saying before, it's like they're all your mates, but like it's technically work as well.
And
do you know what I mean?
things are born out of that. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, not necessarily that trap, but there'll be something that happened there that will become something.
Funny story. That's actually where Sugar Plumbing by Reese Taylor
No
got
way.
like finished up basically.
No way.
Right.
It was on that week. So
You could literally have an inside joke with an artist, then they'll like make something based on that.
yeah,
You
So
never know.
this one is called Active by Fora and Vindon. I think this is actually one that Billy sent me. I think Billy got... Is this the one? Yeah, it is.
no, it's fine.
Whoa.
I think go up.
Right now, man, active. Down with the game like a bandit. Me bring the flame like a matches.
I love Vindon's vocal, man.
He's going to be at ADE, I think.
No way.
I think he is.
He is like,
This gives me bassline vibes. Like it's a mixture of like EDM and bassline. Like it's like an American bassline.
That's
It
true.
is.
I like
love
that.
this, man.
I like that.
It's so funny because Vindon is like our flow down.
It's
Brogo's
crazy.
incredible.
Yeah. He's so good, so consistent.
Really good.
So consistent.
So consistent.
Yeah.
There's some people that just have it, like being able to like. There was even the recent tune, the recent AC13 one that we put out, Waves. Like there's something about like just pairing the perfect beat with the perfect artist, and Vindon every time, no matter what it is, it just sounds like it's meant to.
Do you know what the crazy thing about Vindon is like, I've worked with him with like with artists that I've managed before, and also he did that one with Magnus. I
know what you're on about.
The one on the house. Yeah. And the crazy thing about him is like you send it over to him and he's like, yeah, all right, I'll do something. I'll get it back to you. 4 or 5 hours later, he just comes back with like this MP3 file and it's completely perfect.
Love it.
And we're like, what the hell? How have you just done that?
Yeah.
But some people have that talent,
They got the
which
gift,
is crazy. I've had that with a number of people, and to be honest, like a lot of the ones that come out in like 2 to 5 hours are usually the ones that end up doing the best.
The authenticity of it. It's not like you just need all the rework.
It's really cool.
You're not overthinking it as well. Like if it just flows, and it usually does when it's
feels
quicker
more
as
natural.
well.
Yeah, 100%.
Wigges is an example of an artist like that.
That was a nice.
Now this is an art. I think I
Consistency.
did support this
Yeah,
on
you
the
did.
channel.
Well, you supported the previous
track,
Right.
but he's
okay.
got an EP coming out. Are we putting it as an EP or is it a couple tracks? But this is a track called Nunca.
Ooh.
I don't think this is drum and bass, is it? I can't quite remember.
I love it when an artist can do multiple genres.
Yeah, the vocal's great in this. Caracal Project did a track with this vocalist.
Oh really?
Oh man,
Yeah.
It's very like,
Yeah.
what do you call this?
it's in that world of
If you
like,
go to the second drop,
Yeah.
know
no,
what?
that's what, yeah.
I still can't put my finger on exactly what to call this genre.
This is
reload. Pull up.
Tunes, man. This probably is.
It is drum and bass.
It is.
That
but
drum-
even from the beginning.
It's this weird mix. It is breakbeat, but it's
I think it might just be at a slower BPM.
yeah, it's this weird sort of like unique sound that Emanu and the Caracal Project have, and it kind of what it does is it mixes like it realistically, like to break it down as simple as possible. It mixes traditional drum and bass with like the likes of Flume and Skrillex and stuff like this.
So this is the best combination of people we might have had on to describe the genres. All right, big one.
So last one is Exile and Maestro Chives Royalty. We've got a Don Diablo remix.
We're gonna play a very short bit of this.
Yeah.
If you guys are on our on our mailer list, we've just started like our mailing list. I can put a link below for you guys to sign up to it. Yeah, I had to unsubscribe from my personal one because I was like, I'm making these. I know what's in it. If you guys want to subscribe, you can go in the Discord or you can click the link below. And we actually played a preview of that, a little sneak peek.
Play the second drop.
Here?
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, because I just really like this bit.
Let's do it.
This is... It's like future house.
Yeah.
So that's like classic Don Diablo, right?
Yeah. How do you call his fans? Hexagonians? Hexagonians are gonna go feral with that.
Yeah, that's hard, man. Really cool.
Really like
Yeah, I mean, I think the sound at the moment is super cool. I'm a big fan of everything coming out. It's like I said, a big discussion that we've had today really is that kind of where the world is and what we listen to. But like in the last year or so, I've gone headfirst into like the music that we put out, and it's sick to see. I mean, you mentioned earlier, Kamila, like the kind of that shift in UKF sound. There's a similar thing I think on the NCS side.
Yeah, definitely.
Like that balance between like feeding what traditionally is wanted and then these like something like that, that's a traditional
pushing what
kind
we
of,
think is
and
the new
then
sound
the new
as well.
sound.
Yeah, definitely.
And you got to challenge your audience.
Yeah, I think you do.
Well, I mean, they challenge us for sure. They're like, I don't like that one.
I love it though, because like the thing is with the NCS community is like you have all these rankers and stuff like this, and I love going through them. I personally, I go through at the end of every month, I go through pretty much all of them. So And it's so cool seeing that, like, you know, a track that I personally absolutely loved, they placed last.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And then a track that, you know, maybe I wasn't so keen on, comes first. And I'm like, okay, what is it that's making... And with a lot of these ranking videos, they describe why they...
Which is good.
Yeah, it's nice to see. They describe why this one's their favourite and why this one's not their favourite. And I think that it's so cool how music is so subjective. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it really is like, it's right place, right time as well. Do you know what I mean? Like something in these ranking videos I see quite often is, say for example, a song that comes out at the start of the month. I think what the rankers do is they like, when a song comes out, they already like preload it into like a draft sort of like file.
I think so.
And then as the releases come out, they add them in and add them in and add them in. And it's cool to see because a lot of the comments they have is like, oh, at the start of this month, this was like a 5 out of 10 for me. But actually, the more that I've listened to it, it's actually an 8 out of 10 now.
Opinions can change.
And that's what I mean. It is right place, right time. It depends on your mindset.
Tunes can grow on you.
It depends on where you heard the track. It depends on so many factors.
There's loads of things like that. I think before we wrap things up, obviously we've got ADE next week. That's a big thing. You're not going to ADE, are you?
Not this
What
year.
you got on?
Sadly.
What can you shout about? What's coming on? UKF, all that stuff.
Well, we do have our 15-year anniversary next year, so there's some big plans for that. So keep an eye out, guys. I won't give away too much because I think that's all quite confidential still. But it's going to be some really exciting stuff. But I think the next few shows that I'm planning on going to is Hamdi in Pickle Factory. Hamdi is an artist that I think I am really obsessed with. I was going through my record box and it's like Hamdi. I was like, oh my god,
they're just all such DJ friendly tunes though. Do you know what I mean?
No, honestly, like it's just such hype. Like it's the right kind of sound that I like, but it's also like big energy. So he's playing a Pickle Factory next month. It's already sold out. Typical. Everyone is loving Hamdi's sound.
Is selling out nowadays in London.
But then
it's
obviously we're going through gig season soon, so like, you know, it's gonna start getting crazy. There's a lot of stuff happening in drum sheds, basically the new print works. I've not been yet, but I'm planning on going to I think maybe the Chase and Status show, which is
February next year.
So then also there should be a 185 music show coming out, so I think that might be in December or January. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, there's loads going on. Yeah, there's loads going on. I'll be a little busybody going around and like networking. But yeah, it's gonna be lots of fun. Anything else you guys are doing other than AD?
Well, we've got AD, and then like this time of the year just ramps up, doesn't it? Like I say this to Charlotte all the time. My role, like I just say like when October hits, I just go, throw me stuff that you need me to do. Like
really, it's the complete opposite for me.
But that's because for you on what you've spoke about, ADE is prime spot for that. Whereas the community definitely goes to itself. Like you saw last year, like I'll chat and everything, but making a post that's going on the wall needs to be done as well. Like it's really interesting.
But also because I think like the reason why it's so busy for us is because everyone wants their releases to come out before the end of the year.
Yeah. True.
And that's when the schedule gets mental and everyone's fighting for a spot because it's like you want to release before the end of the year and then and we're full, mate. We fill up insanely fast, and obviously I want to support as many people as possible, but it isn't possible.
There's logistics,
exactly. It isn't possible. I have to make sure that I have space for the bigger artists in order to provide a space and an opportunity for the smaller artists to support them. So there's got to be a balance.
It's a balance. We will wrap things up there. Want to quickly mention, because you're on part 3 of it, is it? 3rd event? You've got your own event. Fourth event. Excuse me.
18th of November.
18th. Sick. Jake's got
big old lineup.
If you're in London, big lineup.
Big old
come
lineup.
Come through.
Big old Josie lineup.
There we go.
Come on, darling.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. Appreciate you being on.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Like I said, AD tickets in the description. Check out Kamila, Clueless. And yes, we'll see you guys on the next episode of Full Circle.
Woo.
See you soon.
Peace.
Bye.